Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you, and the Bitcoin Maxis are coming for us in tow. I tell you what, somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, we're over $3 trillion market cap again, 3.04 trillion. We're up 4.6 on the crypto market collectively. That's just the last 24 hours. Bitcoin knocking on 90,000's door. It's 89,800 plus. Ethereum 2,200 plus. XRP back at the number 3 spot. We're 249 and we're up 7.5% in the 24 hour. We're up 10.6 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range of price here, ranging between 230 and 253. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's go ahead and tell you about this. This is taking off like a rocket right here, and people are loving it. I am too, to be honest with you. It is the Freedom Zone, and you can join now directly right here by clicking this button under any one of the videos, or go to the drop-down menu, hit More, and click any one of these links and check out all the cool deals, or join us on Patreon, where it's the same thing. It's 0 Google ads on the videos, uninterrupted, and extra content as well, and we're loving that. I certainly am, and I know you guys are sending some great comments. I love it. Yesterday was a great day. The Senate voted 70 to 27 in favor of Cruz Carry CRA, which is repealing the IRS broker rule requiring DeFi front ends to KYC users. And 19 Democrats joined in voting yes to this. So this is a major victory and the strongest sign ever that crypto has bipartisan support. Now it goes to the House. And listen, I would expect it to fly through the House and then it's repealed. But this is why crypto legislation is important, but it's what they put in it. Remember, they did this and we were all like so excited they were going to put something through. And then when they showed us what the verbiage was, we were like, no, what are you doing? And then it was a hang up, a bottleneck for the next couple years. So whatever they do going forward, and I know that they're working diligently to get this done, they've got to get the verbiage right. Got to get the verbiage right. And I do believe right here, Eric Trump shows a takeoff happening, and I think Riz takes the message perfectly here. Are we ready for takeoff, ladies and gentlemen? And I think so. Remember, we got something coming this week. Rowan Exchange says, why does it feel like President Trump is being pressured and maybe even manipulated into including Bitcoin in a reserve? Now listen to this layout from Rowan Exchange here. There's some good points here. It's weird that President Trump led off on Sunday with XRP first, Solana, and ADA, which are superior assets, but then, as if you can imagine, his phone blew up and Bitcoin Maxis raced into the Oval Office to badger him about Bitcoin. He put out a follow-up message to make them happy. I referred to it as an honorable mention. Pulling up on the caboose is Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? But not only that, now you got Lutnick giving a statement that the president definitely thinks that there's a Bitcoin strategic reserve in what seems like putting his own words in the president's mouth. Now, I remind everybody as a side note that Howard Lutnick has personally professed to everyone out here in the world that he has hundreds of millions of dollars as a position in Bitcoin. So I've always expected Bitcoin to go in a sovereign wealth fund, and it was wondering if it would go in a strategic reserve. But if it does, understand this. If they don't reveal who the 4 Satoshis are, and we know that the government knows who they are, then it's a government psyop at my house. And it was created to be a financial band-aid for the transition to the new digital on-chain economy, which is the moment we're actually in right now. But we'll see how it goes, right? Friday will be a key moment, they say, for the president himself to clarify messaging around the U.S. crypto reserve and do it in his own words. just as he does with all other issues. And I'm excited for that too, because I know President Trump is the kind of man that doesn't want somebody else speaking for him, especially Howard Lutnick. In other words, he himself has to take the lead here, because otherwise the Bitcoin maxis around him will try to make him prop up Bitcoin and downplay XRP, which would be a major mistake. Bitcoin is a useless coin that has no intrinsic value, says Rowan Exchange. Utility, on the other hand, holding it for a greater fool to buy it. They want the greater fool to be the United States so they can keep their relic alive, pump their bags, and have a ready buyer when it's time to offload. Modern superior cryptos such as XRP is a threat, and unless the president himself gets a grasp of the subject matter, he's likely to be steered in the wrong direction by his Bitcoin advisors. You know, this is pretty remarkable when you think of it, because there's a lot of attacks out here. And Bitcoin is struggling because the IMF just did a deal with El Salvador where they gave them a $1.3 billion loan. And El Salvador included in ending Bitcoin purchases as mandatory by merchants in El Salvador. And now it is optional instead. So it's no longer mandatory to be considered money. And then we have this guy. Oh boy. Now listen, I don't like wasting time on this, but this is a big deal because this Friday we have a meeting coming up. And it is important. And if you think they don't listen to us, I got news for you. They do. All the time. And I'm told by top industry leaders that they listen all the time. You wouldn't believe who tells you they listen all the time. Nonetheless, take a listen to a piece that I won't give you the whole thing, but you got to hear enough of it, because this is what this guy is spreading.
President Trump announced on Sunday a crypto reserve for the United States of America that would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Solana, and ADA, also known as Cardano. Let me be super clear with my thoughts. None of these altcoins deserve to be in the same sentence as Bitcoin. Better yet, in a reserve held and maintained by the United States of America. There's only one coin that did not have a pre-mine, that was fairly distributed, that is actually decentralized. One, and that is Bitcoin. No Bitcoin was created for the founders, was allocated to a special group. Every single Bitcoin owned today was earned through proof of work, whether that is mining, literal proof of work, or whether that is doing real things of value in the real world and using your earnings and your wage to buy Bitcoin. No cheating, no special interest, period. Gold did not have a pre-mine. Corn did not have a pre-mine. Aluminum did not have a pre-mine. Bitcoin did not have a pre-mine.
Okay, this is nonsense. Good Lord. I can't even take it anymore. My goodness. Jack, first of all, go clean your room, because it's obviously too dirty that you're going to do all your shows from inside an empty closet, right? It's unbelievable. All right, first, let's start here, okay? First of all, pre-mine is not a bad thing, everyone. It's a good thing, okay? You can say pre-mine, pre-mine, pre-mine as much as you want. You can. Corn wasn't pre-mine. Yes, it is. Corn is pre-mined every time you grow it, because you can't eat it until it's grown and harvested. That is called pre-mining. Jesus. This is what happens when you have too many friends that think just like you do, and then you don't have anyone to press you on your ideas to flush them out, and then you find yourself on the internet looking like a dipshit. It's unbelievable. First of all, pre-mine isn't a bad word or term. Pre-mine of XRP helps control low operating costs for a network like the XRP ledger. And by the way, here's something you wouldn't know, Jack. It also gives the advantage to have an escrow, so you can incentivize usage with good, solid monetary policy on the asset. I wouldn't expect somebody who broadcasts from an empty walk-in closet to grasp this, by the way. So maybe a couple of his buddies could sit him down and explain it to him. Here's the other troubling part. Currently, right now, at the time of making the video that Jack Mallers made, Bitcoin is currently operating at 3 to 7 transactions per second and costing on the low end between $1 to $5 and at times surging to over $50. Now, I personally experienced an over $4,000 transaction fee back when Bitcoin first hit 60K. Now, you can call this what you want, Jack Mallers, but a solution Bitcoin doesn't make. Sorry, fella. This is going to be awful tough on you Bitcoin maxis when you find out that Bitcoin works better when it's on the XRP ledger, for which it has been since 2014. By the way, the Bitcoin network doesn't have a decentralized exchange built into it. So we're talking about apples and oranges here. Unfortunately for Jack thinks somehow that these horses are in the same barn. The guy needs help. It's unbelievable. I love his passion, but it is met with ignorance at the same level of his own passion. It's embarrassing to watch. Meanwhile, President Trump will host the first ever White House Crypto Summit on Friday, March 7th. Attendees will include prominent founders, CEOs, investors. Looks like Mike Saylor's going to be able to join them. Maybe that's why he's starting to wheel back all his Bitcoin maxi talk. We'll see, but the struggle is real, and they are listening to us. They know what's going on out here. They're listening. And I'm not saying to not have Bitcoin in these things. I'm just saying if they add Bitcoin into a strategic reserve without telling us who the 4 Satoshis are that the government interviewed, then it's a government psyop. It's that simple. What the hell are we even talking about here? So if Trump unveils a Bitcoin strategy on Friday, then we know Howard Lutnick's been in his ear because he's got hundreds of millions of dollars worth of it, and he needs to get out of it. And in order to get out of it without crashing it when you got that much of it, you're going to need governments around the world to adopt it now, aren't you? Again, I'm not saying don't put it in there. I'm just saying if they put it in there, then you know it's a government psyop if they don't reveal who the 4 people who created it are. Because you know what? That is software code. Someone wrote it. They didn't plant a seed in the ground like corn, and they didn't find it in the dirt like gold, Jack. These people, it is unnerving. It's crazy. And it's always those calling for exclusion like Jack Mallers and Michael Saylor, who's trying to change his tune. All of these people who call for exclusion, they're the problem. I've not heard one XRP holder call for exclusivity for XRP in a strategic reserve. Not one. Internet's a big place. Meanwhile, XRP and ADA are the 2 big winners of U.S. crypto policy. Looky here. It comes to ETF applications, we're sitting right in there. It comes to Made in the USA, we're sitting right in there. It comes to blockchain projects attending the White House, we're sitting right in there. Mentioned by Trump, we're sitting right in there. There you have it. Funny enough, though, where's XLM in this? I'm just asking for a friend. Meanwhile, Charles Hoskinson, I tell you what, this guy's trying to rewrite history right here. I tell you, he's a revisionist.
Well, I mean, David and I have very similar stories. You know, we have somewhat similar backgrounds, and
he doesn't want to talk about how he called him a dumb MFer and all this other stuff, and then the rest of us. Currently still has me blocked, and I've never said a cross word to him. I've only challenged him on the grand conspiracy narrative that he tried to knock down, which we all know is absolutely true. This guy is a level of arrogance and narcissism that's out of control. I can tell you that right now. And he's trying to play nice, but the truth is we already know who Charles is, right?
You know, we grew up in this industry together.
We got matching tattoos now.
You know, XRP launched a little bit before Cardano and Ethereum, but not too far back. And I was in the space when XRP launched. In fact, I remember the launch because we witnessed all these different things happen, and because we kind of come from the same stuff. You know, no matter we like each other or not, it just as all the people we remember disappear, like we're the only people there. So you just become like the old warriors commiserating on things. Adversaries at times, friends now. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very bright guy. He's very talented. He's been around. He hasn't retired. He probably could if he wanted to. He's still fighting the fight, and there's not many people left who are still fighting the fight from when I was growing up in the space.
No doubt about it. A slight level of humility detected. Meanwhile, XRP active addresses skyrocketed 620% as supply drops on exchanges. Now, how about that one? What do you suppose is going on here? While everybody's freaking out in retail world land, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. Who are these people that make up the 620% of active addresses that have skyrocketed? Institutions? Family offices? Right? Oh, boy. They ain't shaking me out of this. I can tell you that. Let's listen to this right here. This is amazing. Trickle, trickle, then flood. Absolutely right. Love this entire thing. Enjoy. Shout out to DAI.
First thing is I met with Brad Garlinghouse face
And by the way, this is where we're going in short order.
to face, and Brad was so confident. He's got an air of confidence about him that's unbelievable. I met Brad first in 2019 back in Singapore, and he's even more confident today than he was back then. He made it clear that they're ready to settle with the SEC as long as they can get clarity on XRP. I asked him if American companies were waiting on the sidelines to jump in the game once clarity happens, and he said absolutely. And he specifically said Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, and he said Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens, because they're going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL in the marketplace. So Brad is very, very bullish.
Talking about another major would be Ripple, XRP. So, you know, the SEC made this very interesting stance against it in January of 21. Bank of America had been utilizing it for 100% of their internal transactions for approximately 2 years, and they was shut down. And so this really efficient system, the second largest coin, now is way back because of how it was regulated. And so that regulator is getting out now, Gary Gensler. And so, you know, and President Trump's met with the CEO of Ripple a couple times. And so I personally think that Ripple is being looked at by the United States as a SWIFT system alternative, as we are looking at digitizing, tokenizing, and Ripple has the ability to kind of be like the internet and be this platform that can be the guardrails of the future, where we tokenizing with.
The case for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, because Bitcoin is digital gold, everything else has different roles. Something that could happen, I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency, or as the base layer for national banking. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that, if that does happen, that changes things.
It feels like the
If
floodgates are going to open this year, doesn't it? I mean, so within the past week, a couple weeks, so SAB 121 being called back or rolled back. And I mean, within, it felt like minutes, you know, you hear from CEOs like Bank of America saying, we're all in. And, you know, these are institutions that Bank of America was one of our early partners. when we were doing kind of like the messaging software only payment solution. So we've worked with these types of banks for a long time, and the lack of clarity, and I mean, I think in the more recent time, even hostility toward, hey, like, you know, using these assets and this technology is not okay, it's dangerous, which is not the best way to handle it, as we would say. But looking forward, I would say, yes, it seems like there's going to be a sea change this year.
First thing is,
No doubt about it. I leave you with this thought. You think banks don't want to sell Bitcoin to their clients and customers? Of course they do. And I think they should be able to. I think it's been ridiculous that they haven't been able to. Financial advisors included. Now ask yourself this, because they could make a lot of money doing that, and I hope that they do. But imagine how much money you can make when you're using an asset every day for all the payments that are involved, including you selling that Bitcoin to your customer and using XRP to do it. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're going to want to get with us today. Last night we had a big speech from President Trump, and we got that and so much more. I hope that you will join us because, oh, whistleblower alert. That's all I can tell you. You need to come on into the freedom zone. We're going in right now. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone. I hope you'll join us. Come on in. All right.